Good morning, students. So today we read about improvement in food resource. This chapter of a class 9. So what is improvement in food resource? So first of all, what is improvement? Improvement in food resource. So here improvements means we increase the production of a crop without degrading the quality of the food. So here what happened? Continually populations of the country increase. As populations of the country increase, we required more source of the food. But we know here land of the country is limited. What is land of country is limited. So here we have limited resource. So main motive of our improvement in food resource to increase production without degrading the quality of the foods. So degrading quality of the foods means we use lot of pesticides, we use lot of chemicals, so that are harmful for the living things. So here, first of all, how many types of crop and what is crops? So basically crops, when you grow many type of a plants at a large scale, so that is known as the crops and its type. So these types can be divided into how many on the based on the season. This is on the two type, and on the based on the nutrients, this can be divided into four types. So basically what when plant of the same kinds, what important here, same kinds are cultivated at the large scale. What is large scale? It is called crops. So for example, what is wheat? Wheat means that all plants grow in and field are that of a wheat. So this is the example. So all plants of here, what are the wheat? So this is known as the crops. So basically, wheat is the one example of the crops. Other example of a paddy and maize and corn, soya beans, pulses. So these all are the example of a crops. So basics, its type. So on the basis on so on the so on the basis on season. So basis on season. So on the basis on the season. So this type divided into how many? Two types. How many? Two types. So these two types, what is kharif crops and second what is rabi crops. So kharif crops, what these are known as the what is rainy season crop. What is rainy season crop? So rainy season crops, these crops are grown in rainy season, especially in June and July. So and this type of the example what paddy. So because paddy needs a lot of water, so they are grown in a rainy season and in which month June and July, and their time of the harvesting is October and November. So they are collected in October and November. And more example of this what is paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut. These are example of a kharif crop. And second rabi crops. So rabi crops need less water, and so that is why they are growing in the October and November. And October and November, these are known as the what is winter crop. So these are winter crops. So they are grown in October and November, and they are harvested or a cut in the month of March and April. So these are the example of a what is wheat, gram, peas, and the mustard and linseeds. So these are example of the rabi crops. So these crops are according to the season. So what is season? Summer and winter. And here type of the crops on based on the nutrients. So basics based on the nutrients. So basically nutrients are what? These are the component present in the food, or we can simply component components of food. So for example, protein, fat, vitamins. So example protein, fat, vitamins, carbohydrates. So these are the what is component of the foods. So on the basis of the nutrients, these are divided how many? For this is one cereal crops. So that is cereal crops, what is wheat, rice, maize and millets. So these type of crops give us what is carbohydrates. What is give us carbohydrate. Okay, and second, what is pulses crops? So pulses crops, gram, pea, black grams, etc. So like kidney beans, soya beans. So what do they give? These give these gives us what is protein. So basically these are the source of a protein. So that is why we call this what is pulses crop. And next what is oil seeds. So oil seed what is mustard, linseed, soybean oil, and what is groundnut and sunflower. So these are the source of a what is oil. So what they provide us fat. So fat is another component which are important for the body growth and the body mentions. And last one, what here? This is a vegetable and the fruit. So vegetable are fruit, onions, orange, and the carrot. So these are the source of the vitamins. So these provide us vitamins. Okay, so basically type of the crops on nutrients only four type. But sometimes we also take another type that is known as the fodder crops. So fodder crop what is bursum, oats and the grass. So these type of the crops are produced for the basically for the cattle and the animals. So basically we can divide into four type on a nutrients and two type on the season. And here what is nutrients are what is these are the component of the food which help in the growth of the body and maintaining the function of the life. So already explained what is nutrients. So nutrients are the organic material. What is organic materials which required by the plant for their growth and development. Okay. So there are the total 16 essential nutrients. How many? 16. So out of 16, what is air consists, what is carbon and oxygen, and water contain hydrogen and oxygen, and soil contain macro and the micro nutrients. So we already know crops or a plants, so they make their food by using the photosynthesis process. So in photosynthesis process, they required carbon dioxide and water, and using water and carbon dioxide, what they perform photosynthesis reaction in the presence of a sunlight and chlorophyll. So what they make their food, and this food supplied to all part of the plant. So basically what we need oxygen, hydrogen, carbon and oxygen. So for example, basically, so this is a plant. So what happened here? Small pores are present. So here what these are the small pores are present. So these are known as the what is stomata. So these stomata take what? These take CO2 from atmosphere and they take what is sunlight. For example, this is a sun. So this light comes here. So this is sunlight. And plant also consists what is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. Okay. So what happened here? Chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide, and this plant absorb water from the roots. But for example, this consists roots, and here they take what is H2O, water. Okay, so they take what is water and carbon dioxide, and what they form photosynthesis reaction and make their food. So here minerals and water are absorbed by the roots. So basically we can write this reaction what is CO2 plus H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. What they form? They form O2 plus what they form energy, that is what is food plus energy. So we basically write what is oxygen plus what is food plus water. What is water. So these need by the plant. So these are the nutrients or a component: carbon, hydrogen, and carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Okay. So what they produce? Oxygen. So oxygen is a waste material for the plant because they produce oxygen, but what they need carbon dioxide. And here food. So this food is transferred to all part of the body. So that process is known as the photosynthesis reaction. So these are the main components which present in air and water, and other soil contain macro and micronutrients. So macronutrients means macro which required in high amount. So that is known as the macro. So what is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and the sulfur. So these are required in large amount. So they are help in the growth of the plant. And what is micro? So micro means less amount. So micro amount how many? 7. So here 7 present. Iron, manganese, boron, zinc, copper, molybdenum, and the chlorine. So these elements required in less amount. So these are known as the nutrients and their types. So next, what is practice of the crop production? So practice of the crop production means which type of the steps we taken for produce the crop. So how many steps are performed during this practice? So first of all, what is preparation of the soil? So what is the meaning of the preparation of the soil? Because sometime what happens, soil is very hard. So and due to the continuous growing of the crops, so soils need some nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus. So what happens by continuation of the crops? What happens? Fertility of the soil is decreased and hardness of the soil is also increased. So we perform some steps like cultivation. So we make that soil is soft and the loosen and this soil is porous, so that when we germinate seeds into the crop, so into the soil, so what happens, these plants comes easily outside the soil and their roots penetrates easily. So what is preparation of the soil? To make soil is porous and soft. Okay, so this is important step. So this can be done by the plow and by using some combiner and the other tools. So we make this soil is soft. And next step what is showing. So showing means we take a good quality of a seed. So here what is important? Good quality of seeds. So these good quality of seeds means they are free from the disease, they are free from the fungus and the bacteria infection. So we take good quality of seeds and adding manure and fertilizer. So these are what is some substance which add into the soil that increase the fertility of the soil, and that increase the production of a crops. And this point is what is irrigation. So simple irrigation, what is giving water to the crop. What is giving water to the crops. So mostly in our country, our crops are based on the rain. So main source is what is rain. And but there are some other source also use river, canal, and the other systems. And in old time we use well. So that is what is a traditional method or a old method. But in modern we use sprinkler or a drip irrigation system. And this is what is protecting from the weeds. So this is protecting from the weeds. So for weeds, what is this is simply many times unwanted materials or unwanted plants are grown with main crops. So what is unwanted plant? So these unwanted plants, they are grow with the crops. So what is the effect of these unwanted plants? So they share their nutrition like minerals, nutrients, and also share their water, and also share their sunlight. So what happens? So growth of the main crop is affected by these unwanted plant. So for production of a high production or a high yield of a crop, first of all, we remove these unwanted plants. So these unwanted plant may be removed by some mechanical method or by hand, or sometimes we use some type of the chemical that is known as the weedicides. And this is what is harvesting. So harvesting, that is the final step. Before the final step, we cut crops and we perform some technique, winnowing and the threshing, and separate the grains from the husk. So this is known as the harvesting. And final, what is storage? Storage after the harvesting, we store these crop or a grains in a particular dry place, so that we protect our crops from bacteria infection and the other disease for the future. So these are the important steps. So practice of the crop production, or we simply, or that is agriculture steps of the crops. So here already mentioned preparation of a soil. So what is preparation of a soil? It makes soil what is illusion. So illusion and soft, so that what happen? Particles of the soils contain some space between them. For example, these are the particles of the soil. So what is these are the soil particles. So soil particles means they take air easily. So they absorb air. So if they absorb, what happens? They complete their photosynthesis process. So because it contain what is, these contain roots, and these roots contain what is root hair. What is root hair? So these root hair absorb oxygen easily, because we know plant also take respiration process. So in respiration process, plant take oxygen and give carbon dioxide outside. So if we make this soil is what is porous, so that roots of the plant can take breath easily and easily absorb the water. So important, what is to make it soft and loosen. So what this allow the roots penetrate deep into the soil. So this is the another advantage. Loose the soil allow the roots to breathe easily. So these are important, most important step, and this step is performed by in the starting. So these are the some tools which are used for the agriculture purpose or making the soil force. So here this is old traditional method. What is old method? So in old method we use bullocks. We there this is plow. So this is plow shaft and the plow share. So these basically devices for the preparation of a soils. So next what is showing? So in showing we take a good quality of a seed. So this is important. Good quality of a seeds means these seeds are free from the fungus and the infection and the bacterial infection. So and the clean and the healthy. So how to identify these are the good quality seeds? So take all seeds and put into the water. So first of all what we take a water tank and this is a water. Okay, so we take seeds. So these are the seeds. So when you take a quality seed, these good quality seed, what happen? They are sink and these are float. So which seeds are float? They are affected by the infection because their weight is less, and that is which is good quality seeds. They are sink. So you can identify which seeds are good and bad. Okay, so farmers prefer to use seeds which give high yield. So high yields means what is high production of a crop. What is high production? High production of a crops. Okay, so seed drill. So seed drill nowadays the seed drill in figure is used for the showing with the help of a tractor. So in old time we use bullock. So here what is a, this is a wooden. So in wooden we take a funnel shape instrument. So here we put seeds. So these seeds going one by one. For example, we put here. So these going one by one at a proper distance. But this is a time consuming process. But in modern day, what we use certain new techniques so that save over times and grow the plant at proper distance. So what is important in showing of a seed? What is uniform distribution? Uniform at equal distance and depth. So uniformly means every plants grow at a certain distance. So what is importance of that? Because they do not share their nutritions and the other important things so that plants grow independently and healthy growth of the plant this is necessary. Sometime what happen we throw these seeds by hands so that is these plants are grow in groups so that is known as the overcrowding. What is overcrowding? So in overcrowding what happen? These plants do not get sufficient sunlight, nutrition and the water. So that is why their growth is affected. So here important we grow plant at a proper distance that is known as the uniformly distribution. So next what is adding manure and the fertilizer. So after what happened after the these steps we mix some substance that increase the fertility of the soil. What happened when we grow continuous crops we grow many crops in 1 year, for example, two crops, three crops. Sometimes we grow four crops in a year. So that plant take continuous nutrition from the soil. So what happened? So these nutritions in a soil is decreased. So especially what is nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, potassium, magnesium. So that is deficiency in the soil. So we have to add some substance. These may be pure, that is organic, and second, what is inorganic. So what is manure based, what is organic, and fertilizer, what is impure or a, that is based on the chemical base. So what is they replenish the soil with the nutrients. So already explained. Okay. So here is important. What is the difference between manure and fertilization? So simply manure is what is made in a field by the farmers. So how they make? They take a vegetable pills, fruit pills, and animal waste like cow dungs, and they collect and mix water between them and kept into the soil for the 1 or 2 months. So after 1 or 2 months, what happened? Due to the decompositions by the some microorganisms, they converted into the manures. So this is, there are no chemical add. So this is a pure. What is? So this is what is pure, and there are no harmful effect on the humankind or a living things. And the, on the other things, fertilizer only based on the chemicals like the NPK example of a that. So these are what is also increase the production of a crop. But what happen if you use excessive amount? Here what is important? Excessive amount. So if you use excessive amount, what happen? These are mixed into water and in ground and the, other things, and they increase disease in the body like cancer and the other things. So here what is important? Excessive amount. Okay. So what is already here written? So water pollution. So fertilizer also increase water pollution. So another example, another advantage of a manure is what is, they increase the water holding capacity of the soil. They add humus into the soil. So these are important characteristics of a manure and fertilizer. So these are what is fertilizer and the manure. So these already explained. So what are the difference between the manure and the fertilizer? So manure, what one more important point, manure is relatively less rich in plant nutrients, and what is fertilizer are very rich in plant nutrition like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But manure is pure and they create some disease in the human. So next step, what is advantage of a manure? So in this slide, what advantage already explained that they increase the water holding capacity, they make the what is soil pores, and in soil of a pores, what happen? Exchange of a gas is easily, and they increase the number of a friendly microbes. So number of a friendly microbes like earthworm, white earthworm, red earthworm. So they help in increasing the earthworm. So next step, what is here given? Irrigation. So irrigations in our country, what is irrigation depend upon what is rainwater. So our production of a crop depend upon what is rainwater. So mainly rain are comes in June and July. So mostly crops are basis on the rains. But sometime what happen? Rains are not produced. So that we use other type of the source like canals, like rivers. So sometimes some type of a crops need lot of water, like rice or a paddy require lot of water, and other like rabi crops like that is wheat, they require less amount of water. But even at the hilly area and the mountain, we require less water, so we use different type of the technique. So we avoid the wastage of a water, because water is important, and good water or a potable water is very less in our country and also on the earth. So we manage our water resource carefully. So the supply of a water to crop regular interval is called irrigation. So what is here important? Regular interval. So irrigation what is varies from crop to crop and soil to soil and the season to season. So all living beings need water to live, and water is an important proper growth and development. So water is absorbed by the plant roots, and along with the water, minerals and the fertilizers are also absorbed. So here in old time we use mainly depend in old time we mainly depend upon the rain, but some other source also use like rivers, and also use we draw water from the wells. So that is old or a traditional method. So these are the traditional methods some given here, but today we use what is modern technique. So modern technique, what they contain? They contain drip irrigation system and they contain what is sprinkler system. So they are useful for production of a vegetable and the fruits, and even they avoid the loss of a water. So sprinkler system. So this system is more useful on the uneven land. What is uneven land? And where sufficient water is not available. And second, the perpendicular pipes having rotating nozzles on the top are joined together in a main pipeline at a regular interval. So this is the structure of a pipe or a that pump given, how they distribute the water. So that is they make some nozzles. So this nozzles water comes and they distribute it in all parts. And second drip system, in this system the water fall near the roads. It is the best technique for the drop by drop directly fruit plant gardens and the tree. So here these are given many plant 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. Here we arrange a water in a pipes. So these giving by drop by drop. So this is best method and avoid the lostage of the water. Next, protection of a weed. So weed, what is undesirable? So this is what is undesirable plants. So when you grow like weeds and the paddy, so some type of the plant grow like that is known as the in Bathwa, that is a type of a weeds. So some type of a grass that grow with the main crops. So what are the effect of that weeds? So they share nutrition and sunlight of main crop. What is? So these weeds, what is share nutrition and water and affect growth of main crops. So that is why we have to remove weeds so that our crop grow well, and the removal of a weeds is called weeding. So the process of removing weeds is known as weeding. So weeding can be done by manual by hand and by some device like kurpi. And today we use modern technique or a modern machine to that remove this weeding. So already this explained that water, nutrients, and the space and the light they are shared. Thus they affect the growth of the crops. So some type of a chemicals that is known as a weedicides are also used to kill that weeds. So the manual removal including one physical removal. So physical removal, what is uprooting or a cutting. So this is uprooting and the cutting them close to the ground and from time to time. This is done by with the and seed drill also used to the uproot weeds. So this is a machine that remove the weeds, and weeds are also controlled by the using certain chemicals. So these certain chemicals pesticides and like 2,4-D, that is a 2,4-D. This is a type of a weedicide, that is chemical used for removing the weeds. So these are sprayed in the fields to kill the weeds. So these are the example of a weeds. So these are the unwanted. So we have to remove them with the help of a kurpi. Next, what is harvesting? So harvesting of a crop is an important task. So the cutting of a crop after it is mature is called harvesting. What is important here? Mature means when crop completely grow. So after completely grow, we cut them. Okay. After the cut them, we produce what is that grain from these crops. So what happened? Pulled out and cut close to the ground. It is usually take 3-4 months for a cereal crops to the mature. So cereal crops means here millets and wheats and paddy. So these are the cereal crops. So in the harvested crop, grain seeds need to be separated from the cob. So this is a calf array that is husk. So these are removed. That is known as the outside cover of the grains. That is known as the calf array that is husk. So we remove them. So this can be done by the threshing process. What is threshing process? So threshing process, simply you take your crop and beat on a ground. What is threshing? Beat crops on ground. So we separate wheat from husk. Okay. And second, this is carried out with the help of a machine called combiner. So this is a new technique. So this is a modern technique. In old time, people use threshing technique, but modern we use combine. So combiner save over times. So that is why we use combiner, which is in fact harvested as well as the thresher. So this combiner machine perform both tasks. What is that is threshing, and second what is winnowing. So winnowing means you separate them grains from the husk. So farmer with small holding of a lands and do the separation of a grain and calf by the winnowing process. So in winnowing process, what we use air. So high air we use, that is high air blowing. So what happens, that calf is separated by the grains. So this is the part of a harvesting. What is cutting the crop? What is cutting the crop, and what happens then threshing, and after threshing what is winnowing. So in today, threshing and winnowing is done by the modern machines that save over lot of time. So next and important step, what is this is known as the storage. So storage, after the you use harvesting process. So you remove your grain from the husk. So you have to protect for long time, because we store our wheat, paddy and the other crops for long time, like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Because what happen if by chance rain not come, and if drought come, so we store our food for 3 and 4 years future. So that is why this storage is important. So storage of a production produce an important task if the harvested grain are to be kept longer time. But in longer time, they should be safe from moisture, pests and the microorganism. Okay, and harvested grains have more moisture. So what happens when we store these wheats? So what happens? These wheats or a cross gain moisture, and due to moisture, there are the chance of fungus and the other things. So what happens? These make a food poisoning and the other things. Sometimes what happens? Insect damage our crops and rats and the microorganisms. So that is why we use some type of the herbicides and the other things put in the grains, and then we store. And initially, first step what we perform to avoid the moisture, we dry in sunlight for 1 day or a 2 day, so that all moisture is completely removed. Then we add some type of tablet in storage room, so that avoid the insects and the microorganism. So here given some for example, attack by the organisms, making them unfit for use and for the germination. Hence, before storing them, the grains are properly dried in the sun to reduce the moisture in them. So this prevents the attack by the insect, pest, bacteria, and the fungi. So this is the last step of agriculture practice. So here we store all crops for the future food. So this is known as the what is different step of the agriculture practice, and here we can also extend this for like some questions. So here some we read about the manure and the fertilizer. So some question comes, what is here green manures and the what is biofertilizer? So what is green manures? So in green manures, when you grow pulses type plants, so that is kidney beans, that is black gram. So what happen when you cut these green plants? So their roots are left inside the soil. So these roots are mixed into the soil and they increase the nitrogen content in the soil. So this is known as the green manure because we already know green, that is our pulses plant have rhizobium named bacteria. That rhizobium named bacteria absorb nitrogen from the atmosphere and they produce nitrogen in the soil. So if we grow this type of a crops like pulses crops, so what happen? Our fertility of the soil increase and that type of the plant which grow in soil and mix into the soil, that is known as the green manure. So that is also a good choice of the manure. Oh, okay, thank you.